Hey guys, this is Vivaan. For my Christmas holidays, I visited Rome. And in Rome, I saw two archaeological sites, being the Roman Forums and the Colosseum. And these sites gave me a deep insight into over 1,000 years of history of the early Romans and showed their daily lives. And interestingly, before my school break for winter break, we studied about ancient civilizations, one of them being the Roman civilization. The video that you see right now is an overview of the Roman forums. But what were the Roman forums? Well, the Roman forums were kind of like modern city centers in big cities today. They hosted everything from serious things like politics and trade to fun things like song and dance. You could find anything there, including art and literature. People even came there to pray. This is a recreation of how the forums had looked like in the early Roman times. And over time, not one, not two, not three, but seven such forums were built. Temples were an important part of the forums. And the image you see on screen is a photo of the temple of Vesta. Well, the ruins of it. Inside the temple, there was a fire that was always kept lit. And why? It was believed that this fire protected ancient Rome. The ancient Romans followed a pagan religion, which means they worshipped many gods. Over time, the ancient Romans started following Christianity instead, and some temples, like this one, were converted into churches, but the temple of Vesta was utterly destroyed. The next image is about art and frescoes on many monuments. So, on this monument, you can see on the arc there are many colorful paintings, and these were made by the ancient Romans. And this displays their daily life and beliefs. As not all of them knew how to read and write, these beautiful paintings were also used as communication. The image you see here is where Julius Caesar was cremated. Now, Rome was a republic, and which meant they chose their own leaders. And those leaders ruled them for 6 months. However, Julius Caesar ruled for 14 years. When Julius Caesar died, they thought he had become a god. But why? They thought it was because he had divine qualities. And they called him Divo, which means divine in Latin. There's a legend that the night when Julius Caesar died, a shooting star shot over Rome, which further strengthened their belief that he had become divine. And even today, we can see that in German, he is called Kaiser, and in Russian, he's called Tsar. Titles that are used even today. This next image is one of the most recognized sites in the whole world. And it is, of course, the Colosseum. I'm sure most of us know about it. It was probably the biggest amphitheater built in ancient Roman times and could accommodate more than 60,000 people at once. Can you believe it? This is how the Colosseum was supposed to look, but today we see it cracked. This image you see is where the animal fights were happening. And if you can see the stairs, the rich were sitting closer to the fights and getting a better view, while the slaves and the poor had to sit right at the top, where they couldn't get as good a view. And what of the gladiators? The gladiator Rhetarius is the one that is the beginner gladiator level, but after they win a fight, they can become any of the other gladiators depending on their skill. This next image is a photo of me and my very knowledgeable tour guide inside the Colosseum. You must be wondering, why are our thumbs down? Normally, everyone's photos have thumbs up, aren't they? There's actually a very interesting story behind this. If two gladiators are fighting and one of them chose to surrender, then the other gladiator would ask the audience, spare or kill. If the audience showed more thumbs up, that means sword up, kill him. But thumbs down meant sword down, spare his life. Personally, I find it very hard to believe that all of this was called games in ancient times. Now, this beautiful monument that you see here is the world famous Trevi fountain. But did you know it is powered by an ancient Roman aqueduct? The Romans had built 11 such aqueducts, and the only functioning one today is powering the Trevi fountain and all the other fountains in Rome. But what is an aqueduct? Well, an aqueduct was the ancient water system that the ancient Romans used. These remains of the ancient Roman monuments help me realize that civilizations don't just disappear like that. They leave traces behind of the grandeur. We can only imagine how magnificent they must have been. This brings me to the end of my video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Bye guys.